So welcome everybody. We're going to jump in and get started. We are so lucky to have with us today Tony Shellman. So I'm going to introduce him, but I'll start with introducing myself as well. I'm Lee Forrester, Harlem Children's Zone Positive Education and Wellbeing Consultant, and we together with the SEL and Development Department are doing the speaker series for you all, the high schoolers and the 8th graders at Harlem Children's Zone. Tony Shellman was the founder, the original founder of 3 major brands in the late 90s and early 2000s. He founded Aniche, Mecca, and Parish Nation. Has anyone heard of these? Hands up. Aniche, Mecca, Parish Nation. These were huge brands. I was coming up in high school. They weren't, but you might see in your parents' closet, they may actually still have some left because these were major brands for us. And I know what it looks like now is like, you know, we have fashion and we could even take for granted all of what has occurred for us to get to this point. But there were formative years where fashion was a huge part of the African-American culture, of the urban culture of America, of African Americans finally getting time to stand out, stand up, and to be authentic in their presentation. And so during this time, it was nothing to be taken for granted to be sold at major retailers. Yet Tony Shellman and his team got their brands in outlets all over the world. They were sold at major retailers. They were amongst the major brands of FUBU, the Avirex, the Air Jordans, these brands that formed our culture. And so much of what they did was rooted in the community. His brands actually became known as the brands for the people. And so I thought it was very fitting for us to bring Tony in as we have this discussion around community. And so we're going to talk to Tony about all that he's accomplished and overcome and how community played a big part in that. So Tony, welcome.
Hey, what up?
We're so happy to have you with us. So where are you joining us from? Your wonderful chair. Where are you now?
I am actually at home. I'm actually this is why I work in it's like the war room. So I work from this room, I train from this room, I do all the I race on the Peloton bike. So I race other people. So outside of racing, I'm just being in the Peloton. We have a bunch of us have different groups and we race. So this is my Peloton room.
I love it.
I race in the Peloton.
Room. I feel like you're creating, you get hype in there. That's your state.
Everything. Everything goes in here, and this is my dome chair. This is where I sit. Like this is like. Whew.
So you were telling us. So I know that this is a lot of this is before the time of the students who are joining us, but they'll know some of these names. You were telling us before everyone joined that you actually got that chair from Puff, and Puff is someone who you've known very well. He's actually. Liz Claiborne acquired your brand Aniche for $114 million. And what was that, 2004?
2004.
Okay. And that was just one of your brands. Now you had Mecca as well.
Yep.
And that was, when did Mecca start and when was that sold?
We started Mecca again in the 90s, early 90s, and we sold it. We sold it in the late 90s and we sold that one for like 25 million.
25 million. Okay, we're talking about 0.00000. These are serious numbers during a time when we didn't have that type of representation in fashion as people of color, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, it was a wave. It was a wave that we created, and and people, the fashion before us as people of color at the time were the Willie Smiths, the Patrick Kellys of the world. Willie Smith was like my inspiration. Patrick Kelly, people like that were, there's so many, Black old school talented designers and high-end, high fashion designers. And they were there before us, but there was, before us, there was really nobody in sportswear, let's just say. And then, kind of like urban sportswear started and people were just kind of doing it. I was in the sportswear business out there in Seattle. So I was in sportswear. So when I got to New York, people like Dapper Dan, April Walker, Carl Kanai had started selling clothes out of his trunk and stuff like that. So that's kind of how that got going. And that's where like the Carl Kanais, the April Walkers, the Dapper Dans, you know, those are the people that really started it going and doing styling and custom gear for people. And the Cross Colors of the worlds, and
The
quite
cross
frankly, even
color.
Spike Lee.
Yeah.